More news to make would-be Auckland homeowners slump in despair today. The average price of a house in the city is predicted to hit almost $600,000 by the end of the year. You can get 13 hectares and a 4-bedroom house with a spa bath in Southland for the same money.
But if the prices are going up in Auckland, the size could be going down. It's all part of the council's new plans to squeeze more of us into smaller spaces.
And as Michael Holland found out, the living is already pretty tight for some.
They're a long way from the quarter-acre Pavlova paradise. Columns, cubicles of humanity living on the ledge. Their daily doings very much on public display.
This is my apartment for the last 6 years.
6D.
6D, yep.
Come in and I'll show you what I'm in.
But while thousands call them home,
I love it. It's very central.
others attach far less flattering labels to many of central Auckland's high-rise apartments. Shoebox, chicken coop and even un-Kiwi. Surprisingly, Auckland's powers that be aren't overly complimentary themselves.
Sadly, they're a very good daily reminder of what we don't want.
As they prepare us for more high-density living, promoting 10 metropolitan centres as ideal for apartment developments of up to 18 stories. That won't be again.
Absolutely not. There's no urban design. There's nothing in there that makes you feel good about looking at these buildings. They kind of block each other and block the sunlight.
Yet, for all their design shortcomings, the residential blocks in Hobson Street reinforce the council's contention that there is a desire for close proximity living. This is tight though, isn't it?
Very tight, but I can't imagine leaving this place, you know. Well, I take pride in it. It takes me 3 hours to clean it.
3 hours to clean this?
All of it, yes.
You must be very fussy.
Well, very fussy.
And it's fair to say fussy's in short supply, this balcony beautifier alone in his cause. Across the way we find a group of Indian students.
I'm paying $450 per week.
4 in all, sharing a 2-bedroom unit.
2 guys under 1 bed, so it's good. Yeah.
So really, this apartment is just for sleeping and eating?
Yeah, sleeping and eating.
Do you feel closed in?
No, because now we are used to it.
Is it wrong for someone like me who lives in a larger house in the suburbs to think this is just a wee bit too cheek by jowl living?
I can't imagine living in a house again. I've always liked apartment living.
But the council and critics all agree it can be done better as Auckland tries to squeeze in another 1 million people over the next 30 years.
It's not just about build, build, build. It's about making sure that we build the right thing in the right place with the right design. So the Hobson Street apartments happened at a time when perhaps some of that planning wasn't as well tuned as it is now.
Good urban design is driven by making sure the building respects or reflects its context, the pitch of the roof, the facades of the building stepping forward and back rather than relentless, monotonous blank facades.
Interesting though, for all the talk, the council's vision still allows for apartments as small as 30 square metres, which doesn't look much bigger than an average lounge. It is small, but it's kind of cosy.
No arguing.
Definitely no arguing. There's nowhere to hide.
High density and good design can coexist. You need developers committed to it. This development goes up to 4 stories. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms in here. People love it. People don't want to move out of here. This is the kind of thing we can have elsewhere in Auckland.
Building in some beauty into a building, making sure that there's sunlight, that there's enough fresh air, that people have got outside spaces, and that there's a little bit of kind of humanity about these buildings, and you know, that's what we want.
Good quality planning, good quality regulations necessary for good quality medium and high density housing outcomes.
The pitch from the council, simply trust us, as it pledges not to repeat the mistakes of the 90s when the push was on to bring residential life into the central city. But for now, and for many, this is home. And that's not necessarily all bad.
I'm very happy here. It's my little god zone, and it's my little kingdom, and I love it.
Maybe all right for one person. I lived in a place, an apartment in Auckland, maybe 40 square metres, and my partner still today reckons it just about ruined us because she was in there with me and she said, Mulligan, sometimes I just need some space to be somewhere else in the house.
We feel that way in the office.
Yeah, you'd be
Maybe
very
it's you
difficult
more
to
than
live
the
with us,
space.
picking, Jesse.
We've been asking on 7sharp.co.nz today if 30 square metres is too small to live in. Can we, by the way, can we see that shot of our apartment that we constructed today in the TVNZ courtyard?
And the important thing about that to remember, and you forget it when you're looking at it, that's all of it. That's the laundry, that's the bathroom, that's everything. As a lounge, you go, oh, that's plenty of room. That's not the lounge,
nice
that's the
size for a
whole
lounge
thing.
room.
Yeah, nice sign for a lounge room and maybe a table in there as well. But we're going to do laundry, we're going to shower, we're going to bathe, we're going to cook. Hallway. Lobby.
Hey, heaps of feedback on 7sharp.co.nz. Heather reckons they live in a 12-metre square house bus. She says if things are well designed, you can live comfortably in that space.
I think it all has to do with what you can see and access outside the space too. You know, they talked about green spaces, they talked about fresh air and outdoor living. Interestingly, the council has changed its policy on balconies. You can now only go down to an 8 square metre balcony, not a 5 square metre balcony, which is helpful.
I like Alan's comment, by the way.
Yeah, I love Alan Duffy's comment. Thank you, Alan. I live happily in about 5 square metres. My wife takes up the other 110 square metres with all her junk and never seems happy.
Sorry to hear that, Alan.